On to the mages. I'm gonna go ahead and start over here just to be interesting. Okay, for staffs, there's really two top tier options. If you have really high cunning, like I'd say probably, 65%, 70% critical chance, you probably want to stick with the Hakon's Wisdom. It's just awesome. You can't beat 100% critical damage, 10% less mana, and the plus 30 to magic on kill. It's just sweet. But if you don't have that, or you're sitting at, low promotion, say 50 cunning or something, you want to sit with the Heart of Pride. This thing is fantastic, especially on the Sarah boss. I have this on my alt account, and it's unbelievably amazing. I didn't use it much when I first got it on this account because my crit chance was so high, but it sleeps and bounds above anything else I have on my other account. If you don't have either of those, Kingfisher's solid. I like this a lot. The Asana Song's not bad either, especially on like the Sarah boss. I will say this, on the Elementalist, this staff steals your flashpoint whenever the Chain Lightning procs, which sucks. So do not use this with an Elementalist. It's freaking stupid that it works like that, but what are you going to do? So I'm guessing if the Chain Lightning proc steals your flashpoint, Kingfisher probably does too, as do any of these other staffs that proc something, so keep that in mind. Heart of Despair is not bad. Scepter of Razikel is good. You just got to be careful with this one as well, because the Fade Cloak, you can't bury yourself in Fade Cloak. So you just have to be aware of that. Blizzard's Path's pretty sweet. That's a pretty funny bow, actually. Or, not bow, staff. I like it a lot, especially if I'm messing around in Perilous. Should probably put upgrades on that just for the lols. This staff right here was so good back in the day. You could basically do up downs with like Firestorm and stuff. It was awesome. You'd self-res yourself freaking 10 times back to back. Accessories on this character are easy. Again, physical immunity. You can use whichever pack belt if you decide. A lot of people like to use like the Inferno with Athlock Burst or the Winter Pact with Athlock Burst. I don't really mess with those very much. I don't like giving up the survivability. Just Belt of Health. Rings are also easier because you don't have, or if you don't have the physical immunity on this one, it's also easier to make a decision because you don't have mana. So there's no reason to use like a renewal or anything like that. I'd probably go with willpower. Just get the attack and magic defense. Cunning's not bad either, but a lot of times you just barrier botting if you don't have the stats. So this is probably your best option. Rings. Really doesn't matter if you're barrier botting. It doesn't at all, and there's not many options. You definitely want to use the barrier ring if you're barrier botting. So use that, maybe like a life drain just to have it, or an attack ring. Vert. If you have the power cord ring, you most certainly want to use that. And then I just put a life drain ring on just to have it. But definitely use the power cord ring. It's great. It's a must-have. This and the Dragon Rage ring are the two best rings in the game. You have to use, I mean, it's obvious though. I shouldn't even have to tell anyone to use a Dragon Rage ring. Same with this. Shouldn't have to tell you to use a power cord ring. If you are under promoted and in Perilous, Cool Beats is awesome, by the way. I'll probably do a video with my alt account at some point with Cool Beats. The 30% damage is good on that as well. So definitely try that out if you're lower promoted and you're playing primarily Perilous. Arcane Warrior. You don't really even need heal on kill on this character. I have it because I put it on my staff. I'll show you the upgrade in a little bit. But again, you want to use your barrier ring. Barrier ring's fine on the Virtuoso as well if you're doing barrier bot style. And I think I have like a chain lightning ring equipped. Yeah. See, it doesn't even matter. If you have high stats, you could go with the critical damage or even attack. Because the thing with chain lightning is only the first hit can crit, which is why this character is so OP for the noobs. Because a lot of its abilities, you don't really even get that big of a bonus from critical chance. Like Fade Cloak can crit, Frost Step can crit, but the first hit of Chain Lightning can crit, but all the others won't. Same with Stonefist. Stonefist operates the same way. Your first hit's the only thing that can crit. The rest of them are all going to do base damage. So a lot of times I'll tell people just to use attack or critical chance. But even on the Arcane Aware, critical chance isn't that important. Just go with attack. Or Chain Lightning. Necro, Walking Bomb Ring's a must if you have it. If you don't, same concept as the other mages. Critical chance is really good now that Walking Bomb crits. Critical damage is fine if your crit chance is high. You could throw on another Ring of Life Drain. I don't really care much for that on the Necro and Elementalist due to Death Siphon. You don't need as much heal on kill. So my staff has plenty on there. The Elemental is the same thing. You don't need as much heal on kill, so try to skip that. Crit chance is more important on this character though because of Flashpoint, which gives you a free cast every time you use it. It has a 10-second cooldown, so crits are pretty important on this character. If you need the critical chance, definitely use these rings. I have max, so I just put critical damage. If you're using a barrier as your spell, you could go with the enhanced barrier ring. I rarely run barrier on my Elementalist. Some people like the Inferno Pact on this character as well. It's one of the few that I would actually be okay with using it. If you're spamming barrier and using like Fire Mine, Immolate, Wall of Fire, Firestorm combo or something, it's pretty sweet. It just doesn't really work soloing. You gotta be in a group, obviously. For all these mages, the Renewal is probably best, by the way. If you don't have the physical immunity, I'd go with the Renewal. If you don't have Renewal, you could fall back on the cooldown amulet. It's great for like the Elementalist, the Necro, Arcane Warrior. Now, you got to keep in mind this is useless on the Virtuoso and Cerebos. And then the Renewal is useless on the Cerebos as well, because it doesn't use mana. Renewal is OP on the Virtuoso. So just keep that in mind if you don't have the physical immunity amulet. That's the first two options you look to. If you don't have either of those, Willpower is probably your best bet. Alright, let's take a look at the staff real quick, the upgrades. Do another double take at that. You can see I put heal on kill and critical damage on it. Alright, let's start with the blades. I used this, the Dragon Staff Blade. I put Craggy Skin and I believe Everite on there. So I got the attack and critical damage. Now, if you wanted, you could do critical chance, which is, again, best option if you don't have high cunning, and the attack. If you don't want to go that route, if you want to put a bunch of heal on kill, it's actually possible to do that. You could go with this Battle Mage Staff Blade. Has 2 offensive cotton slots. You can get up to like 30% heal on kill with this and the whoops. So you could put that in there and then add some willpower or something. I probably wouldn't want to waste it on here. So maybe do like a combo. Even put magic. You wouldn't get the magic defense, but you'd get the attack from it. And it wouldn't waste any of your good cotton. So you could go that route. If you want to waste it, you can do that. Or if you have it to burn, I guess. You could also use one of these as your grips. If you use that as one of your blades. I just don't see why you would, personally. get 11 attack. You're trading attack for critical damage if you go this route, basically. I used the this thin staff grip. Because of a double heal and kill slot. So I just went that route. Gives you a little bit more if you're splitting them up. You get 18 here instead of 12 with the blade. And then you don't have to waste, good cotton to get willpower or anything. You can just use this and then use that dragon staff blade. Or you could just go both if you really wanted to. You could just use the battle mage and this and get 30% heal and kill if that's your style. But like I said, those are your options. I hope that helped some of you make some decisions. If anyone has any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the description and I will get back to you. Thanks and take care.